It was 2005 when Microsoft launched its second home video game console, the Xbox 360. At the time, it was competing with PlayStation 3 and the Wii. Although it wasn't the best-selling system of the seventh generation video game consoles, it is still nonetheless Microsoft's best-selling console and the sixth highest-selling video game console in history. Some of the classics and best-selling games for the Xbox 360 include Halo 3, Halo 4, Gears of War, and Gears of War 2. It wasn't until 2013 when Xenia, the first Xbox 360 emulator, was initially created. Progress has been steady and consistent throughout the years. Currently, some 15% of titles can be played from start to finish, and another 60% of the games have functional gameplay. While it's not as polished or advanced like some of the other emulators out there, it is still quite popular among emulation fans. Therefore, it's no surprise that many Batocerans have been asking why isn't Xenia included in Batocera, or when is Xenia coming to Batocera. In this video demonstration, I will show you some of Xenia's setbacks and problems within Batocera. I will also show you how you can set up and test Xenia for yourself in your Batocera system. Are you ready? Let's do it. Greetings everyone and welcome to Batocera Nation. So glad that you could join us here today. So one of the top questions I've received maybe within the last month or so is how come we don't have Xenia within the Batocera system? Indeed, we have a number of emulators. In fact, we have part of the top emulators already up and running in Batocera, but why not Xenia? In fact, we even got Switch up and running, but why not Xenia? Well, it turns out it's a little bit complicated. It's not so easy to integrate Xenia into Batocera. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to give you a demonstration of what's possible and what's not possible with Xenia in Batocera. So first thing is first, let's go ahead to the website where Xenia is located. Okay, you can see here it says Linux builds coming eventually. It doesn't sound very encouraging. You can click on Master to download the actual emulator. Okay, so go ahead and do that if you want to try things out. And let's go to System Requirements. You can see here that we need a rather beefy computer. You can see here for the GPU, as a bare minimum, we need a 980 Ti GTX or later. Okay, so you need a beefy GPU. In terms of the CPU, anything above 4th generation up will work. You can see here that it does say it does run on Linux with Wine using Vulkan. I'm going to show you that a little bit later on. But for the most part, the emulator uses Direct3D 12. Okay. It does not use anything below that. And furthermore, it does not use OpenGL, which Batocera does use, and Direct3D 11 or lower. Okay, so again, the only thing it really does tend to use is Direct3D 12 and some Vulkan, but the Vulkan support for this emulator is not as strong as the Direct3D 12. And that's one of the reasons why we cannot get this emulator up and running in Batocera, because Batocera will use either Vulkan or Open3GL. It does not use Direct3D 12. So therefore, we are limited in terms of what we can do with this emulator. But again, I'm going to go ahead and give you a demonstration of what's possible and what's not possible within Batocera. So go ahead and download the actual emulator, okay? Save that to a folder, okay? Once you save it and you unzip it, this is what you're going to get. From here, I want you to go ahead and right-click on an empty spot within your desktop and go into New, Text Document. And then backspace and type portable.text, okay? We're going to need to do that because we want to keep everything within the same folder, within the same Xenia folder. Otherwise, it will try to install other stuff in other folders as well. So we don't want that. We want everything in the same folder. That makes it easy for us within Batocera. So I'll go ahead and copy this folder and your games into a portable hard drive, and we're going to test things out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Batocera and give you a demonstration of Xenia within Batocera. Okay, so we're about to set it. Go ahead and press F1. And there's my portable drive. There's my Xenia folder. Just go ahead and copy that into your Windows folder right here. Then go back, and on the same round folder, go ahead and create a new folder. Let's call it Xbox 360. Okay. And here's where you copy your games, right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy my games. Go back to my portable drive. Back to my games. And I'll just copy here, everything from here into that same folder. And paste everything, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward all this, and then we're going to test it out. Okay, so it's done copying everything. Let's go back into the Windows folder. And here, Xenia, we need to add, rename it, and then add the extension .pc. All right, and go back in there. Right-click on open space, create new, create file. We're going to call that auto run.cmd. We're going to double click on that and then type this command. cmd capitalize equals Xenia.exe. And then file, save, exit, quit. And then we're going to go ahead and close it out. Going to press start on your gamepad. Go to game settings, update games list. And let's go ahead and go to the Windows folder. And there's Xenia right there. Select it. And you'll see this. The first thing you'll see is this on the screen. That's normal when you're trying to install a Windows application for the very first time. All right, let's go ahead and close it out. All right, so you're all going to need a mouse, maybe even a keyboard to try out Xenia, okay? Let's go ahead and press select on your gamepad. Let's go into advanced system options. Go into emulator. Okay, there's two of them, Lutris and Proton. This one, I noticed that when you try to exit the emulator, it crashes. So pick Proton, Wine Proton. This, you leave the same. It simply will not work, so I have to turn it off. It crashes when you try to use it. Skip this. This, I notice it has a slight increase in performance, but not much. I'll go ahead and turn it on, and also turn this one on. Everything else, oh yes, and I also turn this one on as well, okay? Everything else, just leave it on auto. Now, in terms of a controller, I'm using Xbox One as controller, and I suspect the Xbox 360 controller will work with the adapter. I haven't tried anything else, but it's more designed to work with Xbox controllers, okay? So let's go ahead and select it now and test things out. Okay, you'll see that the first time it loads up, okay? You have to wait a little while before it's ready to load up some games. You'll see where it says File, CPU, GPU, there it goes. Now it's ready. So this is the reason why you need a mouse, okay? Go into Files, go into Open, click on this one here in the bottom right here with the white folder. Click on that, go to User Data, go to the ROMs folder, and then go ahead and scroll through the Xbox 360 folder. And from there you can pick your game, okay? So I've got a combination of ISO games and also folder games or hard drive games, okay? Both of them work with the emulator. Now, in terms of all these games, I have altogether 34 games. Out of these 34 games, 2 of them I'll consider to be mostly playable. And then we have an additional 4 which are somewhat playable. So that means that 6% are playable without any problems, and 18% are either mostly playable or somewhat playable, only 18%, okay? So again, the vast majority of these games will not work. The problem is with some of these games, they may load up quite well, like you see on the screen, they load up really well, but then when you get ready to play, it freezes altogether, so I'll have to get out of the game altogether. And then we have other games, like you see on the screen, that don't even load up at all. All you see is graphical gibberish, okay? And we have a few, again, that do work. go ahead and try this one first. Dondo Pachi. Select it and open. From here, press F11 to go full screen. Now to exit a game, the hotkey plus the start button will normally exit the game. Sometimes it might get stuck. If it does, hit Alt F4, and that'll also be able to exit the game altogether. Okay, let's try the other one that's mostly playable. All right, we're ready. Open. Same process, unfortunately. User data. And then my Xbox 360 folder. Okay, so what do we have here? This one. It plays really well. Let's go ahead and open it. Press F11. All right, you can see that it plays really well. Now let's try it. Let's go back in there again. All right, let's go ahead and open user data, and then my game folder. All right. Now this one here, it really plays really well. I see a few graphical glitches, but it's kind of slower. So I suspect, again, because I have a mobile AMD chip that's playing slow. But if you have a faster GPU and a faster computer, I'm sure this will play really well at normal frame rates. So let me just show you gameplay. So again, you can see there, for the most part, it does a pretty good job playing the game. All right, let's go back there again. Let's go play a hard drive game. All right, let's go ahead and play Galaga Legions. Select it. All right, from there, just go ahead, go down here at the bottom, supported files, and select all files. And then select that file name right there. Open that. It'll load up.
I repeat, intercept immediately.
All right, you can see there, it kind of slowed down there. Again, if I had a better GPU card, I'm sure that the game will play much better than it does. All right, let's go back in there and select 2 more games. Okay, let's pick Duke Nukem 3D. Go to All Files and select this one. All right, you can see there, it was playing really well. It's just that the graphics don't look that good. It kind of looks also washed out. Okay, one more. All right, let's look for a trigger heart. Okay, that one also you can see is kind of a little bit slow. And some of the there's also some graphical glitches as well. But again, if you had a better GPU card, I'm sure it played much better as well. Let me show you one more type of file that you might encounter in terms of this emulator. All right, let's go ahead and check out Gears of War Judgment. And some of these games can load up with this one right here, default.xex, okay? Unfortunately for this one, it doesn't work at all. I'll show you. And then that's it. It freezes up, and you can't do anything else at all. So you have to just get out of it altogether. So there's several of those games like that they load up really well. Everything looks promising, but then suddenly it just freezes up, and you can't do anything at all. Now let me go ahead and show you two games that are almost there, but not quite. Alright, so I should give you a little taste of Xenia on Batocera. And that also should give you understanding why is it that Xenia currently, as it stands, does not work in Batocera. They're going to have to either create a Linux version of the emulator, but the number one thing that they need to do is to add that Vulkan support. They really need to work on that Vulkan support, and then we can see Xenia and Batocera. So therefore, the success of Xenia and Batocera does not depend upon the developers working on Batocera. Instead, it depends upon the developers working on Xenia. Indeed, if they program full Vulkan support for Xenia, then and only then we will see Xenia quickly ported to Batocera. Alright, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please go ahead and like this video. That would really help me out with the YouTube algorithms. If this is your first time watching Batocera Nation, please consider looking at our website at batoceranation.com, and that will give you a great overview of what Batocera is all about. Most of the emulators out there that are popular are working well within Batocera. This is one that unfortunately is not working just yet. Hopefully, maybe within a year or so, they'll get it working. So if you like what you see, go ahead and please consider subscribing. I've got a lot more tutorials coming up. In fact, the next two tutorials I'm working on is installing textures for Dolphin emulator and for the Dreamcast emulator. Okay, so that's coming up real soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time on Batocera Nation. Bye.